Okay, we are going to create an anti-claw orthosis, right? An anti-claw orthosis. Now, when it comes to anti-claw orthosis, there are very specific needs to it, but you want to know how to make it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make it. And in another video, we can talk about why you're going to make what you're making, okay? So this will be our how-to. Now, usually with an anti-claw orthosis, you want to create a orthosis that will bring and hold the ring finger and the small finger into MP flexion and allow IP flexion and extension, right? So I'm kind of just drawing it on myself first. So an anti-claw is going to hold the small finger and the ring finger into flexion. And it doesn't have to be all the way down. It's usually about 60 degrees, right? And it allows for IP flexion and extension. So what it is you can make it in so many different ways. I'm going to show you the easiest way that I always make it, right? And it comes in two parts, right? Oh, can't use that. I do have strict rules. It is literally so easy. But I think Vanessa would say that I say that about every splint. It's just so easy. So it's literally just strips. So if you think about it, it's going to be a strip to come here, right? So let's say we go and we measure it. Everyone loves it when I measure things. Should I measure? And we're gonna come below the crease, right? So let's measure the length from distal palmar crease around ring finger and small finger. Let me see if I'm saying that correctly. So the length from the distal palmar crease, actually the length plus ½ inch, right? So the length from the distal palmar crease around the ring finger and the small finger to the distal palmar crease. Am I saying that correctly? Plus ½ inch, right?
This the distal palmar.
Distal palmar crease. But we want to be below that. We want it long enough so we can attach it to the bar, right? So that's the length. The other part is the bar that goes around the palm. So it's going to go around from the dorsal side of the second metacarpal, dorsal side of the second metacarpal, around the palm, all the way to the dorsal side of the fifth metacarpal. All right. So that's this. So it's from dorsal second metacarpal in the palm to the dorsal fifth metacarpal, right? That's this. So that's the length. The height of it, I usually base on the patient's hand. So if you are making it for someone where you need more support, then the height might be a little thicker. If you are needing just a little support, then you want it to be thinner so that it can comfortably move inside the hand. If it's too thick, it's going to get in the way of the thumb and it's going to get in the way of the hand. The whole point of this orthosis, the anti-claw orthosis, is to allow flexion and allow IP extension, but not allow MP extension. Right? Does that make sense? So that essentially is your pattern for an anti-claw orthosis. You have the length around the fingers, right? The length around the fingers. And then you have the length around the palm. And it's this length around the fingers will then attach to the strip length around the palm. All right, so that's this is your pattern, and I'm going to show you how to in just a minute. So depending on your material, so I have 2 pieces, right? And what happens when you have it, when you're creating the anti-claw with 2 pieces, is that you've got to get your material to stick together. So in order to get your material to stick together, sometimes they don't stick very well. They'll form and all that good stuff, but they don't stick very well. So the key thing with making them stick really, really hard is that you are going to need to use a heat gun to bond them together, right? Usually when we use a heat gun, it makes the material really, really sticky and it'll stick really, really hard. So one of the things I like about this one, I normally say scraps, but honestly, every piece of material is not a scrap. We can do so many things with this. Instead of pulling a brand new piece out where I could make a wrist support or dorsal block for somebody, I can use this simple piece and cut it into what I need to create an anti-claw. This actually, in 2 pieces, would make a great anti-claw for me. I would use a thinner material like this Orfit, or any material you have that's this. I think this is Aquaplast, but a thin material for someone who doesn't need a ton of support, right? But it's more for positioning. I would use potentially a thicker piece of material. This is Taylor Splint. This is our thicker material, and you can see the difference between the 2. For someone who's got maybe a bigger hand or more like real strong hand that they could potentially, you need to leverage. So the whole point is from this is to try to get better IP motion. Come on now. I'm kidding. It's all right. I make all sorts of noises in my videos. So we want to leverage it to get better IP extension, right? So let's go ahead and make it